A very warm welcome to everyone who is watching this lecture. My name is Shravani Bhattacharya and I am an assistant professor in Assam Downtown University. The topic that I chose to speak on today is architecture and culture. It is one of the subtopics from my paper Cultural Psychology that is being taught in Assam Downtown University. Let us first understand of what is architecture. Architecture refers to the style, character, design, and structure of a building. Now, many of you might be thinking, how is architecture related to culture? Every aspect of a building, especially the architectural aspects of it, is related to psychology. Let us understand this in more detail. The architectural style represents the characteristics of a place, region, and a country. It is said to be the representation of people and societies. Thus, one of the most salient features of architecture is that it reflects culture, that is, our ways of being, and a cultural identity, that is who we are, that is being shaped by the culture. And this culture is also indirectly being shaped by the architecture around us. Architecture displays the relation of the past and the present. So, what we have at present right now, it is a reflection of the history. And intriguing feature of architecture is that it depicts a system of meanings, or referred to as semantics. Semantics leads to shared meanings that are present in a particular culture. So let us understand what cultures, what architecture in each culture has what kind of meaning. So the architectural theorist Rappaport suggested three levels of semantics as being reflected in architecture. Number one are the higher level meanings, which are about cosmologies, cultural schemata, and philosophical ideas. Let me break it down to you. Cosmologies refers to the ideas that are being present in the universe. Cultural schemata refers to pockets of information that we have about culture, and philosophical ideas, it refers to the ideas about life, about everything in general. Let us take one example to understand what do I mean when I say higher level meanings. Example, installing the green architecture in offices will help workers be more relaxed, mindful, and be more efficient. You might have seen that the offices today in many parts across the country developing a type of architecture which is called a green architecture. So, the green architecture is based on the philosophy of biophilia. What is the biophilia? Biophilia means the love of nature. So, we are human beings who are very much dependent upon the nature, and nature also influences the human being. So, it is like a bi directional relationship. So, why do we humans think that without the nature we are going to be much more efficient beings? It is not possible, and we have seen it in many cases where in the cities, in the urban places mostly, the architecture which is very closed and does not have ventilation, not adequate lightings, no greenery around, it leads to huge burnout rates in the office employees. That is why offices nowadays are installing the green architectures in their offices. Let us move on to the second level meaning. That is, the middle level meanings are about reflection of wealth, power, and status. Example, the privileged offices, which we see nowadays in the major metropolitan cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, they demonstrate that they are taking care of their employees by taking care of their psychological needs by installing these green architecture. And sometimes the economically downtrodden offices, it's not just possible for them to suddenly have a balcony of greenery. The maintenance work requires a lot, and you would need people to taking care of those green plants. So the cost of the expenses of that, the economically weaker company would not be able to bear. So that is how architectures display differences across places. The lower level meanings are the expected behaviors that are associated with architecture that can differ across the culture as well as the time. So, working more efficiently, giving in good quality work in offices, it is actually due to the implementation of new architectural styles. There is a very beautiful philosophy which is being used in the offices nowadays, which is the mindfulness. What do I mean by mindfulness is bringing your awareness to the present moment. It is a necessity of life that today has become to keep on running and fulfill so many needs and wants in life that we forget to stop, thank ourselves for the present moment. We think about the future so much that we are missing out the enjoyment in the present moment. And through small steps that the offices are taking nowadays, installing of green architecture, it is actually improving the psychological health and the well-being of the employees, and they are said to be more relaxed, their eye muscles more relaxed when they take breaks and look at the trees around them. So their work quality is also really very good. Next, there are different architectural styles that are said to play an important role for our psyche. First, let us understand about stimulation. Stimulation refers to the amount of information in an architectural setting. So, if you have an architectural style that is too complex, a lot of variety, a high intensity architecture tends to cause stress and leave the viewer puzzled, right? If you want to understand this point, imagine that you're looking at a house which has a lot of furniture, a lot of paintings, and in comparison to a house which follows a minimalist architecture, that is, it has maybe just one sofa, one dining table, and one chair to sit. Okay, so if you compare these two houses, which of these houses would make you feel, more cluttered versus uncluttered? So this judgment depends upon you as a person, because you might find the house with a lot of furniture comforting to you, but for some people they might find minimalist architecture much more attractive. So for me as a person, I prefer a minimalist lifestyle that has a less amount of things. So whenever I work in a desk, for instance, now during the COVID period, I'm making sure that I have a desk with very less things on it, so that my mind is less cluttered with the information that is being present in front of me. So I just have my laptop to focus on so that my work efficiency is more in this case. Let us move on to the other architectural style, which is coherence. Coherence refers to the clarity and the comprehensibility of the elements of a building. So, how clear, how organized, and less ambiguous the architecture is, the more meaning we will be able to derive from it for our daily lives. Okay? And as I mentioned, even coherence will be subjective from person to person. Let us take the example of the healthcare architecture. So, I 1 year back, recently, I have observed a hospital where they have built the hospital on the outskirts of the city, away from the hustle bustle of the traffic sounds. And they have a lot of trees and flowers planted. So, naturally, when you plant all of those trees around, there are lots of birds which come and sit. So, just the thought of me telling you about all of this greenery is it won't justify the peacefulness you see when you actually witness the scene in real life. So this hospital is one of the leading hospitals, and they have a lot of traffic of patients, and one of the foremost reasons is because the quality of the life, the sleeping patterns of these patients have improved because the hospital has taken care of installing a green architecture, proper light, proper ventilation, and customizable rooms. So, for patients who feel that they need a lot of light, they have rooms with especially glass windows installed, and the light seeps in through the windows. So, as I said, that this is actually possible by the organizations which are more privileged in comparison to the ones that are not privileged. So, research suggests that designing spaces in such a way in which patients get good enough privacy is also beneficial for health. Designing places in such a way that gives them an outside view, especially a daylight view, will help in recovery. Additionally, designing spaces in such a way will give them access to nature and outdoors that have been proved to be therapeutic. Also, when you design architectures in which patients feel that they have a sense of control and comfort in that environment, the recovery rates will be higher in comparison to the patients who feel uncomfortable and feel that things are beyond their control. Having a distinguishable demarcations for public and private spaces also reduces the stress levels. Research further suggests that making small changes in hospitals and psychiatric centers, such as removal of shaded lightings, a home like environment, designing the surroundings as per the requirement of the inhabitants, have led to better conditions in patients of multiple sclerosis, mental retardation, delinquency, and psychotics. And a similar approach was also found to be beneficial when they carried out these kind of architecture in classrooms, offices, as well as public buildings. This is all that I had to share for you today. For any questions and queries, you can leave a comment or you can reach me out on my email. Thank you so much for patiently listening to this lecture. I hope to bring a more interesting lecture for you next time. Thank you.